a water living experience cannot be better than Palm Jebel Ali. This
Once you're
has to
in,
be.
you're in.
Palm Jebel Ali is the last option that you get. DXP Interact is your Bible, your
The
guide.
Bible. I mean, you're laughing. That means it's a myth, right?
Please choose the brokerage firm or the real estate firm you're associating yourself with very carefully.
Because it matters
it
which agency you
matters.
trust.
Absolutely.
So yeah, welcome back to another episode of Fam Talks, your key to Dubai real estate with confidence, featuring our very own team leader from ACES team, Waqar Ahmed. Good to have you.
Thank you. Nice to have you.
So you tell what's cooking in Dubai real estate.
Well, there's a lot on the table right now. It depends on your appetite of consumption. Developments in progress throughout every phase of the buy, every sector of the buy. Typically in places like the new versions of the buy coming up in the south side of the buy, where we have developments coming from Emar, renowned developers like Nakil.
Dubai South.
Yes.
That means that is the future of Dubai.
That's going to be the newest version of the new Dubai. For now, it's just the talk of the town, the new Dubai and Dubai South and that zone. But in the coming years, I believe it's going to be the most upgraded and modified version of the existing real estate phase of Dubai. It's going to be more in terms of redefined, learning from the shortcomings and getting up with the perfect model that's going to be the best cut out piece of infrastructure development in Dubai.
Infrastructure. And I hear also a lot about the eco-friendly and sustainable living
Oh,
in
yes.
Dubai South. Can you elaborate this for our viewers? Because sustainable lifestyle, eco-friendly, what does this include?
So, when you talk about eco-friendly and sustainable lifestyle, Dubai is more about coming up with developments which are more creative in concepts. Standard developments you can find out all around the world everywhere, but Dubai is not about that. Dubai has always been about thinking outside the box. Now, when you talk about thinking outside the box, you have developments where you want to make sure that it has a positive impact on the environmental part of it. So we're talking about a lot of green areas and a lot of you can say, how do I put it? A lot of emphasis being put on solar energies as well being produced. I mean, now in Dubai, you're allowed to even utilize solar energy, which was not there before. So that's a part of a step forward towards reducing the carbon footprint, which
Okay,
means basically making Dubai more healthier and sustainable in terms of control on the pollution part of it. Because as we know, Dubai is a growing city in the world. We have an influx of population that's increasing every day as we speak. And as His Highness vision is about doubling the population by 2040.
The master plan.
The master
2040
plan,
master
indeed,
plan.
yes. So, in reference to that, we need to be talking about a lot of improvisations in the current developments that are happening.
And when they say eco-friendly, does it mean you also feel closer to nature?
Let's talk about the project The Valley by Emar. So it's the first time that has come up in any developments in Dubai, where you have the leverage of literally owning a farmland, where you can do natural farming and have natural products.
So you feel like you're on the farm?
You're on the farm. Yes, absolutely. It does not get better than this
So
in
Dubai
terms
is
of a
hitting
farm living.
every type of person. You can even farm?
Yes,
That's
yes,
amazing.
You can. We're talking about developments that have lakes all around, flowing throughout the communities. Then we talk about a recent project of Tilal Al Gaf, which is Gaf Woods. So the concept of that is again
Woods.
Gaf Woods.
Goff Woods.
Yeah. So they've used primarily their name, and then they have given it a touch of woods. So the theme of that community is more synced in line with the green part of it. It's the green emphasis, the green impact on the community, which is like you can talk about 50 to 60% of forest theme, and then the 40% is the construction part of it, the development part of it. So we have these kind of communities coming up, which have never been heard of before, which have never been there before. Then we have communities like Maidan, of course, closer to the city part of it and all. But then you have a new project of Sobha coming up in Dubai land, which is next to the valley called Elswood. Again, the concept is more about um, uh, staying or living out in how do I put it, like a countryside theme. It's more of
Countryside
a it's
theme.
a more of a
You
countryside
spoke about
theme.
this for the valley also. It caught
Yeah.
my interest. What
Yes.
else is included and what would attract families besides the farming element?
So, when it comes to families, it purely comes down to your base of interest. Let's not ignore the point. When it comes to personal usage of a property, there are a lot of factors that kick in for people who are looking for places to stay close by for the schools of the children, places easily commutable so they can go on and off on a daily basis, offices, work, whatsoever, and day in, day out usage. So, for that matter, these communities, and when I'm talking about these communities are not only coming up with properties that are there for people to stay in, but rather a bigger structure to cater to everyday lifestyle of people. Now, in reference to that, I can talk about Dubai Hills. Dubai Hills is a fully flourished and fully developed community in terms of catering to all aspects of people. I mean, you're talking about a master community which caters to a property starting from 1.5 million and goes up to 400, 500 million dirhams. And that's
Wow.
one large community with sub communities in it. So, and we're talking about malls, we're talking about hospitals, clinics, day out, day in, day out, every kind of usage that people are looking for.
This point you just said, large community with sub communities. Can you just elaborate this?
So,
Give an example.
yeah. So, for instance, like you have the master community Arabian ranches.
Okay.
Within Arabian ranches, then you have sub communities like Sahil, Alvarada, Palmera townhouses, independent villas of Sahil, which I just mentioned, Mirador La Colección. These are all independent.
Anya. I think
Anya
Anya.
is not a part of Arabian Ranches 1. That's
Okay.
Arabian Ranches 3.
But does it fall under when we say Arabian Ranches 1?
So the master
So
community is
2
Arabian
is
Ranches 1.
separate.
It's a separate community, Arabian Ranches 2. It has sub communities like Yasmin, Rosa, and all these communities.
Rosa, okay.
Then Arabian Ranches 3, where you have Anya, Ruba, and all these other communities. So in fact, the master communities, when you have a master community, the reason of having sub communities is to form a larger part of community. Then you basically are talking about catering to a larger crowd, and then you are equipping that community with different amenities required to cater to people on a daily basis. Let's talk about the master community Al Gaf, one of the iconic
Tilal Al Ghaf.
projects by Majid Al Fateh. So they started with the townhouses Elan, and then they went up and launched the semi-detached villas of Aura. The demand kept
Aura.
kicking in, and then they went on for independent villas Harmony, and the Harmony had 3 phases in itself. We got into bigger villas within Talal Gaf, which were Alaya mansions. So you're talking about that one community that has villas that were launched for about 1.3, 1.4 million, and going upwards to villas about 50, 60 million, which you even find now villas worth 100 million plus. So that's and Tilal Gaf, the last time when I visited, I was really shocked to see the developments that are happening. You have this large lagoon over there, and then you have the one of the biggest hypermarkets coming up there, and you have they had a nice community center already operational, and many more to come. They even send emails to the owners of properties that who own properties in that community for having feedback in terms of if we come up with a retail area, what should it be equipped with in terms of restaurants or cuisines or splash pads for children or
It's
outdoor
loaded with
cinemas?
amenities.
Yes,
And
yes.
you also said the lagoon. Is this lagoon swimmable or is this just to like enjoy?
For now, not. For now, they've just kept it as a lagoon, as a good site to be at
Like a
and
crystal
have a walk
lagoon,
around.
shimmering
It's a crystal lagoon,
crystal
100%.
lagoon.
Shimmering crystal lagoon. But you never know what happens. Maybe they let you use a canoeing boat in the future.
Yeah,
And you
okay,
can,
fine. So there's
you know,
hope.
yeah, there
We
is
should
hope.
hope.
Yeah, 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 definitely, definitely. So that's one symbol of a master community. I mean, but the recent launches or the recent developments of Dubai have all been about communities, and that's what my advice to any of my investors is always. Focus on a development first of all with a renowned developer, with a good reputation in the market. I mean, we're talking about the big boys here. And secondly, focus on something that's more community centric. I mean, because that is what even holds a good value over a period of time, and good value over a period of time. I say this because this market of real estate is more centered now towards end users than flippers or investors only.
There's the new talk of the town, Palm Jebel Ali.
Oh yes.
What are your views about Palm Jebel Ali?
Palm Jebel Ali is the new talk of the town, 100%. I mean, Palm Jebel Ali is the current talk of the town. Uh, for I believe for investors who would actually had invested in Palm Jumeirah, or people who missed the boat back in 2008, they would be the first ones to understand the real value of this project if they come to know the details in depth about it. I mean, we're talking about the new Palm Jebel Ali catering with developments which have plot sizes of 97% more in size than the existing Palm Jumeirah,
Twice the size.
thrice the size. You
Thrice the
talk
size.
almost you're talking about 97% larger. So we're talking about a comparison of a plot size that is about 7 to 8,000 in the existing Palm Jumeirah against a plot size that is close to 20,000 square feet in Palm Jebel Ali.
Wow,
You know,
thrice the size in
yes,
plot.
yes, yes. So we're talking about 97% larger plot sizes. We're talking about 21% larger built up areas, and the most effective, the punchline over here, the most no brainer
The
about this
price?
is 38% lower in price, 38 to 40% lower in price than the existing, than the prices
Nice.
that were launched at Palm Jumeirah. Now we're talking about, and importantly, we're talking about anything that, for that matter, let's say someone wants to invest in Palm Jumeirah today, you're talking about investing upfront 100% cash. But in Palm Jebel Ali, you are served with a payment plan. So, which means any investor who basically gets into Palm Jebel Ali today is talking about parking his money into something that is the most highest capital gain oriented product. And at the same time, the flexibility of influx of payment is gradual over the next 3 or 4 years.
That is why our CEO Firas, he's just pushing Palm Jebel Ali. I think he sees the
It's a
potential.
no-brainer in all aspects. It's a no-brainer because, as I mentioned at the very beginning of our podcast today, that part of Dubai is what is the newest Dubai that is going to be the talk of the town for probably the next 2 or 3 decades. I mean, we're talking about the largest airport coming that side. We're talking about all the
Al Maktoum
developers.
International.
Absolutely, Al Maktoum International, state of the art airport, and what has been what has been described it
I mean,
as.
but I love the DXB airport. What happens to
Yeah,
that one?
I don't know what they're gonna come up with. Probably, I don't know, a new freehold development coming up in that area. Imagine that the prices are gonna be through the skies. Yeah.
Oh, too much.
So Maktoum Airport, yes, it's a game changer on that side. And then we're talking about Dubai South and Emaar South developments, and a lot of other developers who are coming up with projects over there. So if you look at the master plan, Palm Jebel Ali is the most iconic development of that particular area. And then we have further stretches where you have Palm Jebel Ali Hills, plots where you can, and the area just keeps spreading across. So I'm Palm Jebel Ali is the most, if I have to put it in a nutshell, is the most upgraded, modified version of the existing Palm Jumeirah. I mean, in a nutshell, uh, a water living experience cannot be better than Palm Jebel Ali. That's what it's going to become.
So it means best of the best.
Best of simply the best.
And anything that would have been missed in Palm Jumeirah, it's taken care of in Palm Jebel Ali.
Absolutely. Any shortcomings that were there will be definitely fulfilled in, and Palm Jebel Ali will be the most, you can say, creative structure in its own way, with larger room sizes for roads, for communities, for driveways, and all in everything. I mean, the magnitude of this product itself is going to be much larger in terms of even catering to the expectations of investors and the clients. So anyone, I would say, any investor who missed the boat back in 2008 or that point in time, now is your chance to grab this opportunity. Or trust me, you will never gather up the heart to invest again if you miss this opportunity.
So speaking of opportunities, is Palm Jebel Ali only the option on the radar, or is there something else on parallel
Uh,
that investors should be looking at?
in In terms of water living experiences, Palm Jebel Ali is the last option that you get.
So that's the
There,
last option.
that's the last. That's what I'm saying. This is the final option of water living experience, and buying at the price that they're launching at, and with the sizes, it's a no brainer. But yeah, who knows what they have in future? But definitely for any projects on the water, this is going to be the final one. And the coming week, I plan to visit again the Jebel Ali Islands with a couple of my clients. I'll be doing a couple of videos over there with my clients on site.
No, we're
Uh,
looking forward to that. We
yeah,
want to
yeah,
see
yeah.
your
we have
content.
we have a lot of interest. I must say we have a lot of interest from investors who actually understand the value of such products. You see, water products, particularly in a Gulf country like this, they are not easy to have and not easy to develop. And when there's a development, and before I forget this, it's very important for people to understand that the government has vested interest in this side of Dubai. They have a vested interest in Palm Jebel Ali and the whole infrastructure that connects it to Palm Jebel Ali. So, in any part of the world for that matter, wherever the government invests their interest,
Okay, they're involved. So now it means
that's where the
something
money
big.
is. That's where the money is. I mean, it's not something that you don't need to be a genius to figure that out. It's so simple. So, with having said that, and that's the biggest vote of confidence that you can get before you have to make up your mind for investing into a product like that.
What are the qualities you're looking for the new agents? I'm sure you're also hiring for new recruits.
The first and foremost important part for me when I'm into recruitment, when I look for a person and while I'm recruiting them, is the self belief they have, the intentions they come up with. To be honest, with you, it's like the saying. It's like the saying that goes, "The grass is greener on the other side." People outside the circle think real estate is easy and people make a lot of money. But that's such a cliche. I mean, you keep hearing this now, time and again, and all. But it boils down to a lot of hustle, a lot of hard work, a lot of consistency. Your backbone in this industry is your consistency of hard work.
But then you do make money.
Of course, you do make money. I mean, for that matter, you can make money in any field in the
Any
world, for
field in
that
the
matter.
world.
Yeah, any
How
industry.
consistent you are.
But it's all boils down to consistency. But yes, hands down, that real estate is the most productive industry in the world, wherever you go. But in the end, it's all about your hard work and consistency that matters. So, for me, the first and foremost quality that I look for in a person is self belief. Uh, I don't like recruiting people who come up with the intention that, you know what, I'm going to try this for a month or so or give it a try, and if not, then I already have a talent or I have experience of doing this and that and all. I mean, I within my interview, I I make it a point, I address such notes and I inform the candidates that if you have any second and third options, trust me, you will fail.
So
There's
this
no
should be your last
this
resort.
is gonna
That's it.
this
Once you're
has to
in,
be.
you're in.
You're in. That's it. Because when I came into this industry 18 years ago, I had no plans of switching to any other industry for that matter. For me, it was real estate or nothing. It was that. So I know a lot of my friends have jumped into this industry. My own brother had come into this industry and they
Okay.
couldn't really make it. Again, the reason being is
So you have examples,
I have
good
very,
examples
very,
to
very
make a
close and
well-informed
nice.
decision.
Absolutely. So time and again. So that's one thing. Second, the when you, with the again the most important factor for me that I look for in a candidate is their ability to communicate, their ability to pass on or learn information and then pass on to clients. It's the self confidence that matters the most. Consistency and hard work is there at times. At fam properties, the most important part we look and the most important point we focus on is that the hard work of a candidate is channeled on the right track. Because if I mean you can be drowning in a pond, but and you're just going to be trying to move your hands and legs rapidly just to stay afloat, but that's not called a swim. Swim is a completely different art altogether when all your body and your different angles of your body are channeled towards a particular rhythm and the effort multiplies. So in the same aspect, we make it a point that we ensure that the candidates efforts are channeled onto the right track, and that is why at fam we have a very, very professionally laid down systematic process of enabling the candidates to perform. Uh, a lot of companies lack that. A lot of companies do have that, maybe. I'm not sure of that. But at this firm, what we see and what we focus on is ensuring that the candidate, over a period of time, by following the guidelines that we have laid down as a part of our process, they come on their feet and they start performing. So our track record is amazing. For us, it matters the most is that a candidate is following the guidelines being laid down to him, and eventually, if he starts performing, it's fruitful for him and fruitful for us.
And how much time does it take for them to start performing, giving results on average?
If I'm being bluntly honest, and if the guidelines are properly followed, which are laid down by the firm, you will not take more than 2 months to start performing, at least on the leasing part of it.
So if you're following your KPIs,
Yes.
you're going to make it.
If you're following your KPIs and the CSFs that we have in the company, within the second month, you'll start performing 100%.
You mentioned CSF and KPI. So both of them are important for real estate agents?
Definitely, they are very important. CSF being the most primary element of our training, which is the critical success factor. Under this, we have laid down elements which an agent, a new broker has to follow for him to basically start performing in the next 2 to 3 months. So if the CSF is followed diligently by an agent, which is there are set targets for that, he will eventually be able to perform in the next 2 to 3 months, and that leads him basically to the on track of success.
Nice. So it's like a KPI, key
100%.
performance indicator.
Yes. KPIs, and they're very well synced with our CSF. So that is something a lot of agencies are don't have. We have improvised with it. We have basically come up with a system, the CSF, which is directly in sync with our KPIs, enabling agents to perform and understand the system better, to perform in over a period of time in the sales and
And in the end, helping the clients make a well-informed decision.
100%. Yes. We have. That's why within the firm we have not only got sales managers and sales directors, but we have team leaders as well. So we have a proper hierarchy through all which these agents basically within this firm, an agent has maximum chance of growth given. Over a period of time, they can jump up very quickly to a team leader role, and then over to a sales manager, and then over to a sales director.
Okay. Which areas are you mainly focusing on?
So currently, my team and myself, we are focused on downtown.
Downtown
Uh,
Dubai.
Downtown Dubai. We have
The heart of Dubai.
Heart of Dubai. Then we have District One, which is again
District 1 again. Okay.
Yes.
District 1, what I love about District 1 is the Crystal Lagoon again.
Crystal Lagoon again, and being very close to the center of the town. Then Maidan is basically District One is a part of Maidan, and then Dubai Hills. That's
Hills.
another core specialty.
So can you discuss a little about District 1? So I'd like to hear something interesting for our viewers and investors about District 1 and end users also.
So the District One, the primary development is of the villas, and then we have the District One apartments. We have the main lagoon, which it's famous for, but the expansion of that area that's coming up with a lot of projects of Miras and other developers like Mag and all. That whole area of Maidan is spreading out slow and steadily, with a lot of new developments coming up, and particularly the plots that are for freehold developments in other Shiba Gardens. So that whole area is in the coming times, as they say, the closer you are to the city, the more value your property holds over a period of time. So
You see the entire skyline.
yes, you see the entire skyline, and then it kind of becomes more bulletproof to any kind of a recession impact over a period of time, because
How does this become bulletproof to a
because
recession?
so the center of the town or the developed parts of the town, let's say we're talking about downtown, that's being the center of Dubai right now. Any development that's closer and closer, and the more closer you are to the downtown of Dubai, the more value your property holds over a period of time.
Okay.
So whenever, let's say, a market impact comes in, or let's say if there's a correction in the market for that matter, you always see gradual prices gradually coming down for all developments. But the people who basically, there are always tribes of buyers and for different markets. When we had a recession hit us back in 2008, we saw a lot of Chinese investors landing in this market. So those were the particular breed of buyers who were actually looking only to invest in any part of the world where the market goes through a correction. And they had their segments very purely chosen. And I was there in the market then. So I catered to a lot of Chinese buyers at that point in time. So for that matter, if there's a market correction whatsoever, if the new buyers come in and they want to buy the best of the properties in a corrected market, they will be targeting places that are like downtown or closer to downtown. So it means that if still, even in a corrected market, when you are short of buyers, you still have that influx of buyers coming in, which is a good sign for a health of a property over a period of time, for a health of a development over a period of
Even
time.
though they came during the recession.
Yes, yes, yes. There are always buyers for every kind of a market. That is what people need to understand about real estate. Real estate never stops, real estate never shuts down. There are always a particular breed of buyer for every kind of a market, whether the market is on an upscale or it's correcting or it starts hitting the downscales. But there's always a buyer for every kind of product in the market.
So speaking of recession, what do you see the current health of the market as in? Do you feel there might be another bubble? A Dubai bubble? The real estate bubble we all hear about? I mean, you're
I,
laughing. That means it's a
I,
myth, right?
it's a myth because this question I'm being asked by literally one of my clients every day of every day of my week. So um, um, to be honest to you, I don't see this anymore as a bubble in Dubai. The growth that is happening is unlike people compare it to the 2008 or 2007 crash of properties or correction of properties for that matter. But I don't see it that way because the market then was completely different than how the market is right now. We have a very perfect regulatory market here. We have a very, very strong hold of the laws and the prevailing regulations that are controlling the market. There is a proper understanding of these. If you come down to sit down with a veteran broker for that matter, he will probably break it down to you and explain it to you. In this current market, you don't see any hype because it's not that every area of Dubai is booming at the same time, and you don't see the prices increasing on a daily basis. There's a stagnant growth. Developers have a good control over their inventory. Developers are selling, and the regulations are perfectly designed for long-term end users to invest in. At the same time, an investor, we're talking about the flippers who are flushed out of the market. The bubble is created when there are a lot of flipping in the market.
So when there's a lot of flipping.
Yes, there's a lot of flipping in the market. That is not possible anymore. I mean, unless and until you are buying at a completely distressed price. But it's not that it happens every now and then, which was happening in 2008 because I was the one of the guys on the front line to witness that, where we were literally exchanging hands with properties in a week or 10 days, and the people were making money, the investors were
Ouch.
making money. Yes. So it's not that kind of market anymore. And and why do I say that it is not a bubble? Because we see the influx of people happen. I mean, we see the influx of people arriving in Dubai, residing in Dubai. We're talking about people looking for jobs in Dubai, people relocating from different countries and coming here. The biggest ease is the taxation benefit, which we have, which is not there in many other countries.
Tax-free income.
And we just came to know that the new president of United States have basically, I don't know, capped on the taxes and all that. So we don't know how that is going to affect that kind of market over there and how people are going to react to that. Whether because that has been one of the reasons of a lot of people moving to Dubai is for the taxation purposes, as I had previously discussed, and beyond all, for that matter, Gul, it's the security and the safety factor that.
Security and safety. That leads me to ask you something. How do you look at the geopolitical situation of United Arab Emirates as a whole? Because considering we're placed in the Middle East, it's safe and secure.
I feel Dubai is the most ideally geographically located cities in the world, for that matter. Talk about connectivity, it's amazing. It's out of the world. Talk about its location in terms of trade, imports and exports, it's literally the best.
And I'm sure
And
it's with all the countries now, right?
yes, yes,
It's
yes,
shaking
yes.
hands with everyone.
And Dubai or UAE for that matter, the relationship it has with its immediate neighbors or far off neighbors has been exceptional. I mean, we have not heard of, I mean, any news over that matter coming up with something that has been against this country in any aspect. We have only heard about this country sharing the goodwills and being the goodwill ambassadors of a lot of
Yes.
stuff in the world is
So
happening.
infrastructure, tourism,
Yes,
government to
yes,
government relationships, like for even United States and United Arab
yes,
Emirates, obviously everything falls under the vision of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed.
absolutely.
So in a way, it's you don't see
It's
any.
welcoming in
It's a
all
welcoming,
aspects.
welcoming in every aspect.
Yeah, it's welcoming in all aspects, and with regards to investors, or with regards to people who want to do business, the ease of doing business in
Ease of doing
Dubai.
business, yes, it's
Yeah,
very easy. Can you elaborate this in like quick 3 steps? How easy is it to do the business or to set up the business?
you just need to hire one professional consultant here,
Okay.
and while you're not even in the country, he can remotely handle everything for you. He can even remotely handle your visa processing, and for that matter, you just need to come once to just get your Emirates ID done, and that's it. Leave it to a remote consultant. He can get your trade license or a business operational within the next 15-20 days. That's how easy it is, and that's not how easy it is in the rest of the world. Not only doing business, the ease of commuting, and then Dubai's connectivity all around the world. We're talking about the two national airlines, Emirates and Etihad Airways.
Emirates and Etihad.
You're
And
literally everywhere in the
they're
world.
always on the top.
It was on the top.
Emirates is always, again, back on top this year. I saw another headline that Emirates is again number one.
Yes, absolutely. And with Etihad Airways giving you US pre-clearance within Abu Dhabi airport, nothing gets better than this. Yeah, the ease of traveling. So there are so many. I mean, you can't just count them
So
in
it's not
terms
just
of.
the country or the city Dubai, even the airlines is talked about.
Yes, yes. We have one of the best transport systems now in Dubai. We're talking about the center, the buses, and the metro, and the metro network expanding throughout the new developments of Dubai, which is again a very, very, very advantageous in terms of people who want to commute to the far off sites, because again we have retail areas and all the new communities that are coming up in Dubai, and then we have people who actually are employed in such places who need to commute to and fro. That is what the Dubai government is completely focused on. I mean, we have the
So you
state of
think
the
all
art.
of these factors are attracting the international investors?
Yes.
We see a lot of people from UK, London, the European countries investing and coming to Dubai. But what about Americans? Because someone who's living in the States, obviously they're going to look, 12 to 16 hours flight, it's in the Middle East, is it really secure? What do you have to say about this?
I think one most important part about investment for any investor is that they always think about the aspect of the reach of investment. So for a US investor purely just investing here, I would not say would be something that any investor for that matter would really consider very hard, unless and until that person is planning to relocate to completely Dubai. And that's a no brainer. I mean, I have met so many people in my experience who literally come to Dubai with the mindset of tourism or just visiting or business,
And then
and
they
then
end
they
up
fall in love
becoming
with that place.
citizens.
Yes, I literally recruited 3 candidates recently who had been on a visit to Dubai for tourism. And then they liked it so much that they're like, you know what, we want to get employed here, we want to work here, we want to stay here. And for them, real estate was the best thing to do, because, again, real estate is, you have to understand, real estate is a very glamorous industry again at the same time.
I
As
see it
much
like
as.
showbiz in
Yes,
Dubai.
yes, absolutely. It lets you socialize with the most elite. It gets you dealing and sophistication on that level of the most elite class. So you're basically, rubbing shoulders, or with wolves in the industry. Makes you smart, makes you better of yourself. You basically carve the best version out of your own self, because it's about the kind of, as the saying goes, you learn from the people you surround yourself with. So if you are in the social circle, if you are in the social circle of people who are smart and who are in this business day in day out, who attract millions, who speak millions, who spend millions, you'll end up making millions and you'll spend
So
millions.
distance is not a major factor then
Oh,
for someone from
100%
the
no.
US or Canada.
No, I mean,
Because you know
I
the perception they receive through the media, the geopolitical situation. You're in the
yeah.
Middle East, don't go there.
Yeah, as I mentioned previously, the connectivity has played a very important role. So within 11 to 14 hours of a straight up flight from here to different cities in US, it's become that easy. So it's not a
And I'm
game
sure
changer.
Emirates is playing its role.
Emirates is playing an amazing role with that. They're covering major cities of US for that matter. I've flown in with Emirates, I've flown in with Etihad, and It is never, I've never felt uncomfortable about the journey in terms of the time lapse of it. So it has always been very quick. I've even taken a trip for like 7 8 days, and I didn't feel that I was literally disconnected completely on a different zone whatsoever. But it was always very easy, and it was always very, uh, you can say, it was fun travel for that matter. Yeah,
Fun travel.
fun travel.
Anything about recruiting new candidates you'd like to share for our viewers? Because I'm sure you're looking to hire new candidates.
100%. We in fam properties, the branding we have, and what we provide, we're not looking for people who basically, we don't have that kind of campaigns running where we have to literally ask people to please forward their resumes and all that. Our brand recognition is so much in the market. What we provide, anyone who comes in for an interview, I have met so many candidates who have been interviewed by different other agencies, but when they come to us, and what we offer them on the table is something they've never heard of before, and they are quickly amazed by it, and they're like so spontaneous about the decision making. They're like, okay, when can I join? So as I said, if you're looking for a bright real estate career in Dubai, my advice to anyone for that matter would be, please choose the brokerage firm or the real estate firm you're associating yourself with very carefully.
Because it
Because
matters
it
which agency you
matters.
trust.
Absolutely, absolutely. It is very much in parallel, in sync with how you perform. It depends on the agency you're qualifying to work with. So if the real estate firm you are planning to associate yourself with does not have that, first of all, stance in the market, second, they don't have that necessary equipment, so the tools required for you to perform in this industry, then you're failing. You already failed. And then what happens is, once you've failed, you basically have that sour taste of this industry. Maybe you are a performer. Maybe you were just not given the right opportunity. Maybe the right carving was not done of your talent to bring it out in a proper way. So for that, you need to choose and qualify the right real estate brokerage firm. And I would say at FAM, for us, we think of it this way: a candidate's failure is our failure. That's how it is.
So if one candidate is performing and the other is not performing, whose fault is it?
So we identify the issues with the candidates who are not performing.
Because both of them have the same resources.
Correct. So it's about the utilization of resources. Maybe one of them is not utilizing it correctly, or they're not utilizing it to the best of it, or maybe the process of utilization is not correct. So there are too many factors in that, Gul, for that matter. It's the sync of your timing, your attitude, your consistency,
And
your
how you follow the
follow-ups,
CSF and KPIs.
CSF, KPIs. That is why these two programs that we have, they are so well connected with each other that enables any agent to definitely perform. So if you are 100% on your CSF and KPIs, there is no way in the world you will not perform. You will perform. That I can bet my life on. Yeah, but if you are not qualifying up to even 60% of CSF or KPIs, then
So
it
in the
means
start, if you're not performing financially, but after the CSF and KPIs, if you follow them consistently, you will eventually perform in the financial sector also.
absolutely, absolutely. So it's, well, we're in sync. As I mentioned priorly, it's not about how much of hard work do you put in or how much can you hustle, but it's also about that your efforts are very much in line with channeled correctly on the platform of how they can be utilized the best.
Why do you think experienced agents should join Fan Properties?
I think experienced agents should definitely join FAM Properties, and I'm one example of that. I was an experienced agent when I joined FAM Properties. I had more than 12, 13 years of experience under my belt. In fact, I was an entrepreneur of my own firm, which had in Dubai. The reason I joined FAM is because when I started following Firas and Rami Wahood, who's a sales director in the firm, is a very, very close friend of mine. And when I
Oh, the
started,
$1 million man.
the $1 million listing man, correct. So when I joined him, I understood the how the platform of FAM is. I understood the amenities connected to this. Uh,
So this
based
was the triggering factor.
Yes, and for me it was okay. For me it was like, okay, unless and until you don't experience it yourself, You would not. It's like you don't come to know the depth of sea unless you probably jump into it. So for me, the most important part was to join the firm and understand it, and let it come from the horse's mouth, as they say. So I joined the firm, and that is when I realized I have missed a lot of my time. I should have capitalized on my time long ago. It's it's the vision of the leader. Second, the platform being provided, which has to enable the agent to perform the best of his capacity. For an experienced agent, there is no better platform than FAM Properties, unless and until that experienced agent can count on himself to establish himself as a brand in the way Faraz has done it, then it's definitely, of course, a go for him. He can probably start his own setup and probably go with his own branding. But if he plans to join another firm, compared to what I see in the market, related to FAM, that would be a mistake. I would 100% say I I joined FAM and I realized that instantly that I had lost so many years. I should have joined FAM long ago. And now going on, I don't think that I would ever probably be quitting FAM unless and until the vision goes haywire somewhere in the middle, or there's someone better in this market to offer better than FAM. Not in terms of the commission structure, in terms of the platform and the amenities connected to it, the systematic process of it, the policies that are intact which help agents to perform to the best. I mean, we are one of the most technology driven brokerage company in Dubai. We're the only technology driven real estate brokerage in Dubai.
Yeah, the one who disrupted the market.
We have disrupted the market.
And thanks to DXB Interact.
DXB Interact is your Bible. DXB Interact is your
the
guide.
Bible. Yes.
The Bible.
DXB Interact.
It is your guide. You don't need to convince a buyer or seller anymore. You just need to tell them, check DXB Interact.
So if you want true salvation,
Yes.
go through DXB Interact.
That's it.
To make a well-informed decision.
Well-informed decisions, and for that matter, this is what we believe in. So the DXB Interact is one chapter of our company, enabling clients to understand only one thing: transparency. Because when there's transparency in the market, decision making becomes easier. The buyer and seller has more faith.
And it
in
links to
decision.
the motto of FAM Properties, empowering smarter decisions.
All interconnected. All interconnected. So no more taking a word of a broker for that matter, or a buyer or sellers. Just follow DXB Interact for your rental transactions, for your selling transactions. Make a well-informed decision. Make sure that you understand. And yes, it's a broker's job to
Translate
explain
that data.
Yes.
Because
Because-
obviously you need someone
Yes,
who's a specialist.
absolutely,
So that's why we
absolutely.
have you guys,
Yes.
FAM agents.
Yes, yes. That's where we educate clients on how to make use of that data, understand that data. We basically translate that data for them. And that translation helps them making the well-informed decisions, which are fruitful long term. For brokerage, for a real estate broker, it is important to establish this kind of trust when dealing with the client and closing a transaction, because this is what is called a back-to-back long-term channeled business. So you're establishing a pipeline, because a broker who starts performing or starts working the real estate industry, if he follows this track for the next 3 or 4 years, after 3 or 4 years, he's literally not dependent on so much of marketing or so much of
Because
social
he becomes
media
well
presence.
equipped.
You've already established a pipeline where you're getting clients back and forth based on the services and the decisions and the people who you help make money out of. People who have made money with the investments that you basically recommended to them.
Speaking of investments, how fast is the buying process from you as a FAM agent? If I come to you, yes, I'm ready to buy in downtown Dubai. How fast is the process?
Very quick. I need to just identify your budget. I just need to identify the inventory you're looking for. I just show you the units immediately, and we conclude by making a contract. And once you've signed a contract, you can just relax down. Our progression officer handles the whole business, and you're just called on the date of transfer with your funds ready in and transfer the property. That's how simple it is.
Now I'm ready to make the payment. How fast is this process? Is there any hurdle in this?
No hurdles at all. We can facilitate. If you have the money here in Dubai, You just need to make the manager's check. If you have money overseas, you need to get them across. If you don't have a bank account, you can just wire it across to our firm. We have a conveyancing agreement for that as well.
Who gets the manager's check? Like, for example, will I be giving it to you and you pass it on?
On the date of transfer, you will be giving it to the trustee officer assigned to do the transfer for your property. And that trustee officer, who's a government employee, is responsible of giving that manager's check to the actual seller once the transfer is concluded. So you are in safe hands throughout the process. There is no exchange of financials prior transfer. A lot of agencies have made that mistake in the past, and because of the buyers and sellers not being well informed, there has been exchange of funds that happen prior to the transfer date. That is illegal as per RERA. The Real Estate Regularization Authority forbids any financial transactions happening prior to the transfer of the property. And any and all financials have to be witnessed and monitored by the trustee officer at the trustee office once the transfer of the property is taking place. So that's very important to understand for all buyers and sellers, that you cannot have exchange of funds even if it's contracted, but you're not obliged to pay in a seller prior to the transfer of the date.
Okay, and how fast would the property, I would become the owner?
So now it depends upon the kind of transaction. If you are going through a mortgage facility, you are a mortgage buyer, the transaction time varies between 30 to 45 days.
Okay.
If you are buying from a seller who has a mortgage on his property and you are planning to take a mortgage as well, then that's a buyout process, which typically takes anywhere between 45 to 60 days. If you are a cash buyer and the seller is a cash seller, then it typically takes anywhere between 15 to 30 days. However, the contract terms are always minimum 30 days up to 60 days, depending on the mutual agreement between the buyer and seller. So that is something that a broker does not decide. That is completely amicably agreed between the buyer and seller, and the broker's job is just to document it.
Okay, to document it.
Yes.
So it's as easy as that.
Very simple. And we have a contracts team who are well experienced in drafting contracts of all types, whether it's a buyer to a
Conveyancing
mortgage
department.
conveyancing
The
department.
great Dahlia.
Yes, the great Dahlia. She leads a team of elite sales progression officers who are very, very experienced and well equipped. That is why another point why anyone should be only looking at FAM properties to utilize the services is because we have separate, we have allocated departments within our firm doing their specific jobs, whether it comes to contracts team, whether it comes to the broker activities, whether it comes to the legal part of it. So we have each and every department catering to the transaction part
Like
of
you guys cover each and everything. 360 degrees everything. One-stop shop solution.
one-stop
A
shop
to Z
solution.
everything.
One-stop shop solution.
A to
Yes,
Z.
yes, yes.
And before I wind up, I want to ask you one question which has been on my mind. Why should I consider the secondary market?
You should be considering secondary market only if you're planning to have something that is ready immediately, or you have a time frame allocated for something to move in within a specific period of time, let's say 6 months or 1 year from now, or you're a mortgage buyer. You want something which is ready immediately, you want to move in. Or you're one of those guys who need to look at things, how tangible they are before you actually make a decision. So only then in that matter. But secondary market is more beneficial for people who are end users and depending on mortgage facilities for properties to move in, because a lot of people in Dubai are not willing to pay rent anymore. They would rather pay the bank an EMI or a monthly installment of
They'd
their
like
mortgage
to become owners.
to become
But
owners
then what
of the-
happens to renters then? Where will they go? If these tenants are looking to become owners, then what happens to tenants?
Oh, you will not believe the influx of people moving into Dubai. The leasing market has been in the skies for the last 1 year or so. More than that, the rents have been considerably increasing because a lot of people actually, when they are buying the same properties that they were leasing, so it's exchange of hands that are happening, and the newer properties which are coming in are more in demand by new people moving in, because every other person who moves into Dubai does not immediately buy unless and until they have their safe landing, they get the ground under their feet, they have a proper employment, and they have the sufficient resources.
So in a way, you suggest that before I decide to buy property to buy, I should consider renting first to understand the market.
If you don't understand the market, yes, you should take your time. In fact, being a buyer in the market, I would always advise any buyer to make a very well informed decision. speak to multiple brokers for that matter if you have to. Make sure you understand the product that you're buying or investing into completely with all aspects to its location, with the amenities of that community, with what that community is different than the rest of the communities in parallel to that place. You need to compare. It's like an apple to apple comparison. You have to do this comparison in order to make a well informed decision. For that, you need time. So immediately moving in or just moving in and putting your hands into something and investing millions would be a drastic decision unless and until you're quite
Yeah,
confident
because it's a
of
very
your
important decision. It's one of the most
100%.
important decisions of your life.
Absolutely.
If you're looking to
Absolutely.
get your dream home
Yes.
in the smart city of the future.
100%. Unless you have 100 million dirhams lying here and there and you just want to invest 4 5 million dirhams, then it's absolutely not a problem.
Well, if anyone's looking to get their dream home, I'm sure that whoever's watching is they should get in touch with you then.
The $1 million listing man
The
is
million
Marawi,
dollar the million dollar agents.
the $1 million agent man.
Oh yes, and I'd be more happy if you can sprinkle those $1 million throughout this production unit.
Oh, 100%. Depends on how famous you make me.
Oh, you'll be famous all right. They will be begging to buy from you.
Inshallah, inshallah. I really hope people who are planning to buy the properties in Dubai, they make the right decision in terms of qualifying the right broker firm, qualifying the right broker for themselves, and then making the right property decision. And for now, all we see is in Dubai, all the property. I mean, the whole property market in general is booming. You will make money. There is no second thought about it. But it's all about making the decisions based on your appetite. So if you have the appetite of $1 million, go for that. If you have the appetite of $3 million, so as the saying goes, the more the merrier.
The more the merrier.
Let's keep capitalizing on Dubai's real estate market
Oh, we
in
need to,
terms
yes,
of our
because
reach.
after listening to what you said, I already feel like I think I'm ready to invest today.
Well, I'm your agent. I'm all here. I'm all eyes and ears.
Let me just go through the XP Interact, speak with my team, and then let's do it.
Let's do this. Thank you very much, Gul. Much appreciated.